All right. So let's pick up where we were a couple of days ago. The first thing I want to make sure is that each of you are set up to be where I am. So Sudesh, you'll need to pay close attention to this. I think Alexandra, you already got that link right at the end of class 2 days ago. Is your solution working, your project working the same way mine is?
Yeah.
Okay, good. We'll go ahead and add those break statements in while I work with Sudesh. Sudesh, I'm going to send you a link to GitHub.
Mm-hmm.
And this is going to be, oh, wait, I put it inside Discord. Let me scroll up a little bit.
Yeah, last week. Yeah, I see that.
Oh, Woody says he's got some. See. Here it is. All right. So look in Discord 2 days ago where there's a project called CLI Products. Scroll up just about 7 or 8 messages.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm going to broadcast on Twitch right now. All right. So here we are with 5 Live Code School. We're picking up working on a an application to basically work with products. We're implementing create, read, update, and delete. And along the way, we're reinforcing some of the fundamentals of JavaScript. So Sudesh, if you look at that link, let me go ahead and actually click on that and put it up on the screen for people to see as well, so they can see the actual URL for this link. Now let me share my screen. Okay, so right here at CLI Products, are you there now, Sudesh?
I'm in GitHub, yes.
Okay, good. I'm going to want you to have that exact set of code. Now, in the interest of speed, because we're in class, I'm going to show you, if you don't already know, how to clone this code that I have down to your computer. Do you know about how to do that yet? We haven't covered Git, so if you don't know, it's totally fine.
No, I don't.
Okay, then I'm going to stop sharing and I'll show you how to do this. Essentially, what you're going to do is you're going to pull down all of my code, which is everything I was just showing you a few minutes ago, onto your computer. Okay.
Right.
All right. So go ahead and share your screen and I'll lead you through it. Alexander, have you done this before?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I rather thought so. Yeah. So Sudesh, when you're ready to share, and I'll show you how to get a copy of my code onto your computer. Cool? Okay, so go to your Visual Studio Code. I think you only shared your browser. You're going to need to stop sharing and share your entire screen, I think. Because we'll need to go back and forth a little bit.
One second.
Sure, that's fine.
Share.
Yeah, when the share comes up, share your entire screen.
Somebody prompting me screen.
Say it again.
It's only prompting me the
share a
Zoom.
specific screen.
Yeah.
So it should have a prompt with a bunch of different applications.
I need to hold 1 second.
Sure.
Control.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay, so on the right in Visual Studio Code, first of all, cancel that message down at the bottom right. The restart Visual Studio Code, just close that. or later. Yeah, okay, good. All right,
Yeah.
so we're gonna want to do this in a whole new file. So go to your terminal down at the bottom right. No, you just go click in there. Okay, stop for a second.
Sorry.
No, not what I wanted you to do. Enlarge your Visual Studio Code so we have a lot more real estate. Okay, good. Now, go slow here, okay?
Mhm.
On the bottom where you have terminal, you now have two terminals open. They're both called PowerShell, and they're both, and you can see them listed on the right. You see
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
On that lower one, hit the trash icon, make that go away. Good. Now you only have one terminal. What I want you to do in that terminal is CD. You're going to change directory and go up one directory. Go CD space. And then going up one directory is ... So hit ... and hit enter. Now you notice you're up to the 5 live directory. Make sense?
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So I want you to make, here, I want you to do a git space clone. Okay, now don't hit enter, hit space, but do not hit enter. Now go back over to the browser. And what you're going to do is, click on it. You're going to get a URL that points to this code. Go slow, stop moving the cursor around. You see the green button that says code?
Yeah.
Click on it. And click on the copy icon to the right of that URL. Okay, good. Now go back to Visual Studio Code and hit paste or Control V. Now hit enter. You can make that go away. Yeah, hit enter. Oh, you don't have Git installed in your computer. That's totally fine. That's easy enough to do. Go back out to the web. Open up a new browser, a new tab. And type git download Windows. So this is the version control program that we're going to learn about. Take that first link, right? Yeah, take that right there. Now go slow here. I want to get the right one. Hit the top one that says click here to download the latest. Yeah, right there. Click on that. Oh, good. Okay, it's downloading it. Excellent. All right. Open file. And say yes when it asks for permission. What's happening on your end?
It's giving me the option, select components.
Okay, it won't let me see that. Just take default on everything.
Okay.
Let me know when it's done installing. Anybody following along trying to do this? Just take all the default options when you install Git. Is it still in the middle of installing, Sudesh?
Yeah.
Okay, good. What kind of a computer do you have? I know it's running Windows 10, but is it a laptop? Is it a desktop?
It's a laptop, yeah.
Oh, good. What brand?
It's a book.
Okay, good. All right. Is it decently powerful?
Yes, yeah.
Good. Almost done?
Finish. It gives me launch Git.
Yeah, don't do the launch or anything. If it just finish it.
Yeah.
Okay, now, you don't need to look at that or anything. That's fine.
Mhm.
Okay. Now go back to Visual Studio Code. No, go back to, yeah, okay, good. And hit up arrow and hit
Yeah.
that enter again. See if it'll work. Okay, now notice it's still not recognizing Git. So this is an educational moment. Alexander, I want to check your knowledge level on this stuff as well. When you're operating from the command line, do you know what kind of thing is meant to be the first word you type?
I don't think so.
Okay. In general, in fact, in almost every case, when you're at the command line, the first word you type is meant to be the name of a computer program that you want to use. In this case, we want to use a computer program called Git. When I was sharing my screen and I went to start the project, I typed npm space start. In that case, the computer program I wanted to use was called npm. And when you want to, another way to start up the project, as we've seen in past classes, is to type node and a space, and then the name of the file that you want to run. In each of those three instances, that first word is the name of a computer program that actually exists on your computer. Now, the way the command line works is it reads through the first word, in other words, it reads until it hits a space. And it takes whatever that word is, Git or npm or node or one of a bunch of different words, whatever the word is, it starts running through a collection of known programs and tries to find a match. Any questions so far? Now, there's only two ways that the computer at the command line can really find out what program to run. The first is this. If that computer program exists in the actual same directory that you're at, that's where it'll look there first. And if the program is there in that directory, hey, it's no problem. But if it's not, then it goes to this list and says, okay, does this word that someone typed in, Git or npm or whatever, does this word that someone just typed in match anything in this list I have? Now on a Windows computer, and actually on Linux and on Mac OS, the place that is stored, that list of all the possible programs, is called a path. More precisely, these operating systems have a thing called environmental variables. A bunch of different things that the operating system can use as it's doing its job. I want to look at those. And what I'd like you to do, this is going to be interesting because you didn't share your entire screen, did you?
Only selected the two programs.
Okay. Did it not give you the option to share your entire screen?
No.
It's so weird. All right, I'm gonna take over for you, and I want you to follow along and do what I do. Okay.
Yeah.
And if at any point I go too fast or you have questions, as usual, stop me. It's totally okay to stop me. I can go on.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So from your search bar at the bottom left, type environment. Don't hit enter on anything. Just start typing environment, and notice what's coming up. It says edit the system environment variables. And this is what we're talking about. There's more than one variable. One of them is called the path. So click on that, and it should open up your control panel to this little thing that you can see There's something here about advanced system properties. There's something about performance, user profiles, startup recovery. We don't care about that at all. We care about this little thing down here kind of tucked away called environment variables. Now, the reason it's tucked away and not that easy to find is this isn't for a normal consumer of a computer, a Windows computer. This isn't someone who's just a traditional office personnel who's using their tool just for productivity purposes. This is for people like us who are developers to muck around in here. So go ahead and click on environment variables and let me explain what you're looking at. Again, don't touch anything or change anything yet. Notice where it says at the top here, user variables for Eric D. Yours will have whatever user you're logged in as, Sudesh or something, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Alexandra, you following along as well? Good. Okay. And then this one says system variables. There are two sets of variables that are kept. There's a set down here at the bottom that applies to anyone using the computer. They apply to the overall system. The ones at the top, as you can kind of figure out for yourself, they apply only to the user account you're logged into Windows with. You can have multiple user accounts in Windows. So we want to make sure that we look at both when we do our work here for a second. Now, what's inside here? You see a list of variables and values, and it's just key value pairs. Remember how I've stressed several times that you're going to find key value pairs all throughout your entire computing career. Here's another example. What this will tell you is you're not going to have identical named variables. The ones on the left here are going to be unique. On the right, doesn't matter if they're unique or not. What we care about is one called path. So single click on path up in the top one for user variables for you, right? And then hit edit. I want to show you what you're looking at. Every single one of these entries is the path that leads to some executable, one or more executables, one or more computer programs. As an example, let's look at this application I installed called Cargo. And we'll go to this exact location right here. I'm going to copy that. If I open up my Windows Explorer down here, or my File Explorer, you go to the top and hit paste. Oh, it didn't copy. Let me hit edit. Okay, good. That'll let me copy it. And click away. Okay, good. So here I am. I've got this path copied into my clipboard. I go down here to the File Explorer and paste it and hit enter. Notice that there are a bunch of executables in here. Now, what does this mean? If I were to use any of these words, RLS, rustc, cargo, any of the words that name these files, we're going to use those from the command line. Remember that the command line first is going to look in its current directory. And if it doesn't find, let's say, cargo, it'll go to this environmental variable and it'll start searching every single folder listed here. These are the addresses of folders or the path to folders. Again, in this example, it would get to the ericgross.cargo bin folder. It would start looking through and find a match immediately. You go, oh, this is the program that Eric's trying to tell me to run. And then it would actually run that program. Everything else on the command line that comes after the word cargo in this example would be data that the program cargo.exe needs to do its job. Let's find, for example, the one for node. I think we scroll down towards the bottom, we should find it. I think it might be here in .nvm, but we'll check. ericd.nvm. Let's look in our ericd. I'm not finding, I hate this way it's organized. Let me do view details. There we go. No, it's down here in programs, I believe. So let me go to C, program files. Then C, program files, x86. Where's my node? I forget where they store this. All right, let me look at the list again. ericd.nvm. Why didn't I find that when I was looking? That's interesting. Eric. I'll find it this way. C, users, Eric D. Huh. Why am I not seeing .nvm? That's actually kind of odd. Well, you know, it's funny. When you delete a folder, it doesn't necessarily, it's not going to remove it from the path variable. All right, fine. We'll look at a different one. Oh, here's Git. This is the one that you're looking that we're installing. So if we look at that path, program files, Git, and binary, that's what bin stands for, binary. Let's look at that path. So C, program files, Git, and then the binary. Notice there's 3 executables in here: bash, Git, and sh, which stands for shell. This is the program that you've installed on your computer. Now I'm curious, Sudesh, do you have the same folder structure I have? When you go to C, program files, is there a Git and a bin folder?
1 second.
Take a look. What about you, Alexandra?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Same structure. That's typically how Git gets installed. So I'll expect you to probably see the same thing, Sudesh.
On the edit environment, I see.
Oh, no, I don't want you to look at edit environment. Look at what I have in front of me. I have a file explorer. I want you to open up a file explorer.
Yeah.
And I want you to go to C, program files, Git, and bin, just like I have. If you need any help with any of this, it's totally fine to ask. That's why I'm here.
Files.
How much of that stuff did you already know, Alexandra?
Some of it, but some of it was also new.
Okay, good. So yeah, to summarize, when you're operating from the command line, the first word, the terminal knows that it's supposed to be a program, so it'll first look for that program in the current directory. If it doesn't find it, then it starts looking through this path environment variable to try to find it.
I see the same files.
Good, excellent. All right. So now that you have that, click up here to the right of bin so that you've highlighted the path. Do you see that, how it's highlighted in blue? Sudesh? Just click to the right somewhere in here. Okay, good. Then do Control-C to copy it. So now it's in your clipboard. You're going to need that for later. Don't copy anything else into your clipboard. Now let's go back to this environmental path. And I'll explain again a little bit more of what we're looking at. Hit cancel, and I just want to show you something. If you look at this path key value pair, let's actually enlarge this. And I want you to look at exactly what it is. It's a bunch of paths separated by semicolons. Look at the first one. C users, Eric D, app data, local programs, Python, Python 3.10 scripts. And look, there's a semicolon. Yours is going to be probably different, but you'll have a semicolon.
Yes.
And then there's another path. And it goes to a semicolon. Now, that's the actual value of the path variable. And this means that your terminal, when you type in the name of a computer program, if that computer program isn't in the current directory, starts right here. And it says, all right, give me the path variable, give me its value. And it reads through until it hits a semicolon, like bing, right there. It'll take that first path, and in that path, in that directory, scripts, it will start looking for executables that have a matching name. If it doesn't find one, you'll say, oh, let me grab the next path. C users Eric D app data local programs Python 310. And it'll look there. Did I find a match? All the way through. Now, what happened when you got that red error message, Sudesh, is it did everything I just talked about super fast because computers are fast. It looked through every single folder in this path variable right here. And check this out, in the path variable that applies to the entire system. And it didn't find any matching paths, or more precisely, for the available paths, it didn't find a matching computer program or executable. You following all that?
Yeah.
Okay. So what we need to do is add the path to this new executable, the git.exe. We need to add that path into both of these path variables. Now, even though what this value here is one big long string, when you hit edit, you're given a nice user interface to see each separate path. It just makes it easier for you as a computer user. What you're going to want to do is hit new and then paste that data right inside there and then click OK. Let me know when you've done that.
Yeah, done it.
Good.
For both.
Good. You did
Do I
both
need
of them.
to do-
Excellent. So now here's what you do. Click OK on everything. Go back to your VS Code. It's not guaranteed this will work yet. You may need to restart your computer. But from VS Code, just try to run that same operation. Git clone. Just hit up arrow and hit, and run the same thing.
One second, Eric. The second, I've forgotten what I did to the top.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna go back.
The second. Yeah,
So you did it on the path variable here.
I did the top one.
Okay, do the bottom one as well. So you hit path and then hit
Yeah.
edit, click new, and then paste that in there as well.
Yeah.
Let me know when you're done.
Yeah, both done.
Okay, good. All right, now go ahead and share your screen. I'll stop. Make sure to share both your browser and your VS Code.
Sorry, one second.
Awesome. Click OK on the system properties dialog. Good. And now go to VS Code. Down in the terminal. Hit up arrow. And hit enter to see if it'll work. Okay. You're going to need to restart your computer and log back into the meeting.
Okay.
Okay. So go and do that. We'll see you shortly.
Okay.
All right. Now, Alexander, while he's doing that, were you able to, did you take a crack at working on anything else?
I'm not really. I read through the like how to write to it, but I didn't actually like try doing it.
Totally fine. Okay. Let me go to share my screen, and while he's busy logging off and on, let's just talk through this. What do you think the right approach is to doing a delete? Never mind the code, but just conceptually, what do you think we should do?
Probably add another case to our switch statement.
Good. Okay, so we'll start here in like change this to list another option of delete.
Yeah.
Okay, good. And then put in a case for delete.
Yeah, and then it would probably be you'd probably have to use the prompt again, I would
Yep.
assume, to figure out what ID you're actually deleting.
Perfect. So now let's talk about the function that we're going to build to do it. Where would it go, do you think?
In the operations folder.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is read. I would want to do a different one.
Yeah.
I would want to do a delete.js kind of thing to separate the code. Okay, good. All right. So again, let's say we're in there and we're building this function, never mind what it's going to be called. Let's look at read as an example. It's going to have to get the current data from the database. And then how would you describe conceptually, how do we go about doing the deletion?
You would probably do like a similar loop to like as you did with the read, to go through and like
Find a match, right?
yeah, to get through all your products, find the match for the ID that kind of matches the ID you're looking for.
Perfect. So now we found the match. What do you think we do next?
You'd have to remove that ID that you found.
Yep. Here, let me let Sudesh back in. Good. So we've removed it. Now, what have we removed it from?
The database text file.
No.
Oh, just the array then?
Yeah, because if you look right here, we have an in-memory object called products. It's an array. That's the only thing we've removed it from first. Once you've removed it from the array, now what do we have to do?
Would you have to rewrite the text file?
High five to the computer. That's exactly it. You're going to want to remove the current contents that are there and replace it with new text that represents the new smaller array. We've removed one item from the array, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Good. That's exactly the right concept. And we're going to build that out tonight. Let's get Sudesh caught up to speed real quick. Okay, Sudesh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yes.
Okay, go to share your screen. Let's see if we can get this bad boy working.
Okay.
That was good, Alexander. Thanks for going through that with me. Okay, good. So yeah, go ahead and go to the web first and grab the URL again, because it's probably not in your clipboard. So click on the code, the green code button, and then copy the URL to that repository. And the command again is git clone and then paste in that URL. Git space clone. Good. Hit enter. Now, go ahead and cancel that out, and let's just look through that message. Don't do anything else. Let's just look through all the console messages. The first thing, it said cloning into CLI products. Show me where that is. Yeah, right there. Good. Okay. Now, these messages, the first several, are going to be what's happening out on GitHub. Specifically, this collection or repository called CLI products. You can see it on the left-hand side in the browser. So the first few things happen out there. From the point of view of your computer, that set of files out on GitHub is considered remote. And that's why the next four things are prefaced with remote. Enumerating objects, counting, compressing, all of those are happening out on the remote computer, in this case, GitHub. You following so far?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Little housekeeping thing. And then finally, there's the last two happen on your computer. Receiving objects and resolving deltas. Now, we're going to get into the details on that when we study Git. It's enough for you to know that all the files in that collection out on my repository have been copied down to your computer.
Okay.
Now, you should be able to see, oh, this is interesting. That was a horrible mistake. We did that from the wrong directory. I forgot. Yeah, it was fine. I'll show you how to solve it. So down in the terminal, go cd space ... Remember, we did that before, but you restarted the computer and I forgot that. Good. Now hit up arrow a couple of times to get back to the Git clone. Do it here.
Yeah.
Yeah, hit Git clone. Good. Now, I need you to open up Visual Studio Code in that. There's a new directory. Hit dir to list all the directories. Type dir. All right. Now you should have one in here called CLI products. Do you see it at the top there?
Yeah.
That directory just got added when you did the clone. What happens is you do the clone operation, it creates a new folder at the current location with the name of the repository out on GitHub. And inside there are all the files. So you need to CD down into, just slow down, let me tell you what to do. You need to CD down inside of that new folder. So do CD space and then CLI-products. Enter. Good. Now you're inside that. Now you can, there's a little shortcut to open up reopen Visual Studio Code in that new directory. Type code space and then dot for the current directory. You want to reopen code in this new directory. Hit enter.
Right.
Now, it probably opened it up and we can't see it because of the way you're sharing.
Oh,
did it open up another?
Yeah.
It opened up another instance.
Yeah. Yeah, another one. Yeah.
Good. Then close this instance, the one you shared. Just close it. And then stop resharing and then share again with the new one. I just want to make sure you have everything and you're all set up to go. Good, you are. Notice you have all the things I have, a data folder, node modules, operations, you have all that stuff. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. So now open up a terminal. And you might have to do a little bit of housekeeping here that I'll lead you through. Let's just try to run it. Do npm space start to run the computer program. It worked. Hit A for all. Okay, good. You're up to speed where I am and where Alexandra is. So go to stop sharing.
giving me the prompt ID. I will,
Yeah, I know. That's because you haven't made the
Yeah.
change that,
yeah,
if you go to app.js, add in a break after each of the two console logs. Under A and under I, you need to add a break right at the very end. Let me know
Yeah.
when you've got that running or done. You done, Sudesh?
1 second.
Sure.
Yes.
Okay, good. All right. Alexandra, do you mind driving while we build this out, the delete?
Sure. I still have the delete file though that I had originally made. Is that going to be an issue? Like, should I just get rid of that?
Let me see your screen before I tell you to delete anything, but probably we will, yeah.
All right, 1 second.
Actually, I would hold on to it because it might be valuable. You might be able to copy paste some of that brilliant logic over there. Okay, so yeah, let's just start building this out. So Sudesh, while you were logging off and logging back on, for the environmental variable thing, I was just discussing with Alexandra how to go about the next thing we want to build, which is the ability to delete an item. And remember that
Right.
we want to delete it from the actual text file up in the data folder called db.txt. That represents our permanent storage, our persistent storage of information. So once you go and talk through it again, Alexandra, what our approach is going to be each step of the way as we build this out.
Okay, so we'd want to add like another option into our console log to ask for
Good,
like
excellent.
the delete,
Yeah.
and then add that case into our switch statement down here,
Mm-hmm.
and then add another prompt to actually get that idea.
Mm-hmm.
And then we would want to make like the delete JS, which this is what I currently have, but
Oh, good. We can start from that. Excellent.
yeah.
And this is the important part I want you to go through and explain again for benefit of Sudesh and also anybody watching this later.
Okay.
What's the steps that we're going to go through to do this delete?
So we'd want to loop through our product data, which would be
Okay.
our DB text, and then also check for a match of the ID that we input.
Right.
Then
And
once we find it, then
Yeah, go ahead.
remove it.
okay, good. Now, clarify, if you will, what we're going to remove it from first, and then what we need to do with it. When we say remove it, what does it get removed from first?
The array.
Good. What's the array called in your code?
Here it's the temp array, I believe.
Good. You did this temporary thing. Okay, excellent. And that's where on line 11, you did a slice, correct?
Yeah.
Good. Okay. All right. Now, how do we populate this array you have called temp array? How does it get its data?
Through the loop that we're going through.
No, in line 5.
Oh, line 5.
When we first create temp array,
Oh,
it's a copy of the current products array.
yeah.
Okay, good. All right, good. So again, I'll describe it one more time because it's such a critical piece. So Sudesh, at the time that we arrive at this code that we're going to build on the screen here in front of you, the remove product by ID, remember that we're arriving here in the context of a currently running computer program. And in that program, there's an object we have access to. You can see it on line 1. It's called products. That object is an array. It's held in computer memory. And each element in that array has an object in it that represents a product. You following?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. We need to do two things. First, when we found the element in that array, that in-memory array that matches what we're searching for to delete, we need to remove it, remove that object from the in-memory array. We then need to take that in-memory array, which is now one element smaller, and use it to actually change the content of the db.txt file. Click on that if you would, Alexandra, the db.txt. So let's say we deleted item number 3, the desk. In memory would be 5 elements in an array. When we remove that middle element, the desk, from that array, now suddenly our in-memory array only has 4 items. We need to go back down to text from it. So we'll take that array with 4 items, we'll convert it, each item in it, into a text format called JSON, JavaScript Object Notation, which is how the text in front of you is formatted. We'll convert it into that, and then we'll erase everything in this text file you're looking at and replace it with the text of those new objects. You follow that so far, Sudesh?
Yes.
Good. All right, so that's what we're going to build out. So Alexander, go back to the app.js and let's start in the order you were talking about. On the console log, I think we might want to start to improve the user experience here a little bit. And rather than having one big long sentence, maybe we can do several successive console logs that list, say one thing like pick from the following operations, and then on each line has one available operation. You follow?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
So you want me to rewrite this?
Yeah, exactly. So pick from the following operations. Now,
Then
I think you might be able to do on, yeah, I'm not sure whether in this console.log you can do a return to the console. I don't care too much about that. Just do another console.log, one for each of our operations. So do a colon list all products. And then do another one for the I. Find individual product by ID. Another one for delete individual product by ID. So we'll do it D. Now let's run this and make sure that it prints out, see how it looks. There's an npm start. Oh yeah, that's fine. Pick from the following operations. A, list all products. I, find individual product by ID. And D, delete individual product by ID. Okay, good. Excellent. Now, let's solve another thing. Right now, the program only runs once. What we'd like to have is for it to run over and over and over and over again until we want to stop the program. Make sense? So you don't usually have to think about this sort of thing when you're doing a lot of computer program development, because the frameworks that you're going to use already have this stuff built into it. But that's part of why I'm doing it with these tiny little building blocks. I want you to be able to think with this stuff. The way we're going to do this is we're basically going to produce a loop that you can never get out of unless someone puts like an X to exit. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So you're going to want to put this just above the prompt.start. and it's going to be a while loop. Inside a while, inside the parentheses here, we're going to put a Boolean expression. For example, you might do while, this is totally hypothetical, other instances. Let's say you were like trying to do some sort of operation on every single student in a class. You might do like while student count greater than 0 in here. And as soon as student count is 0, because we've handled every student, then we pop out of this while loop. You guys follow that logic?
Yeah.
We're going to do something really funky here. Just type the word true inside there, which means we're always going to do the while loop. We'll never have a false. This is like an infinite loop. We're going to give ourselves a way out. Don't worry. So give me a space and then curly brackets. Yep, hit enter. And now take all of our code down below and put it inside the while loop. You should be following along, Sudesh, so that your code stays the same.
One thing I noticed, I haven't got a delete.js.
No, you won't at all.
Okay.
That's
okay.
Alexandra's code, and we'll
All
get
right.
there in a moment.
Okay. Yeah.
So let me know when you're caught up and you have the same while loop.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's fine.
Just
Take your
over.
time. We're moving a bunch of stuff around here. I want you to take your time and make sure you got it right. Now, Alexandra, how do you think we could exit out of this while loop?
Would we add like an option to the case so that like a prompt is like, do you want to stop?
Yeah, let's do that. Don't type it out yet, but yeah, absolutely. But my question is, do you know what the syntax is, or do you know how to look up the syntax for how to stop this thing? Because it's just going to run forever.
Wouldn't you just set the loop to false or?
Well, you can't do, you're writing the code there while true.
So would you like return false? Or
Nope,
no?
there's no
Oh.
return from it. It's just literally going to run forever. Why don't you see if you can Google how to get out of a while loop?
I think I might have just shared my VS Code though. I don't know. Can you see this?
No, but that's fine. I don't care about the, I just want you to look it up.
Sure.
Sudesh, are you caught up to where Alexandra is?
Yes.
Okay, good. I'm not. Let me put my VS Code on another screen and I'll do it. All right, so. Okay. All right, so there. So did you find anything?
It looks like you can end it with a break statement.
Yeah.
Does that mean it
Excellent.
will end like automatically just from the cases?
That break only exits from the switch.
Oh, okay.
A switch is also a loop. One of the things to be familiar with, and this, I know I probably sounded like a broken record during the first several classes, but these 5 fundamental computer program elements are so important. Entrance point, variables, control and branching statements, subprograms, and exit point. For each language you learn, you should learn all of the control and branching statements. If, then, else, while, switch. These are all examples that are used in many different languages. So this switch, it's a control and branching statement. It's a router. It's a traffic cop. It says, just based on the input coming in, here's one of 2 or more possible paths you can take. So when you type break, say on line 33, if you hit that, it's only exiting from the current control and branching statement that you're in the scope of. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Excellent. All right. So first, let's see if this runs, and then we'll worry about breaking out of it. So I think we should all do this down on the terminal. Do an npm start, or however you start your program. You can use your node as you're doing, but do an npm start.
Eric, can you give me a couple of seconds?
Ooh, we're in an infinite loop.
Yeah.
Yep. You're gonna have to do a Control C. We might have to do a Control X. We might even have to shut VS Code because we built ourselves an infinite loop. Yeah, just shut VS Code and start it up again. I remember when I was very, very young, learning to program. If you did something like that, you'd have to turn your computer off. You're a toast. Now there's a lot more protections against it, but infinite loops are very real, as you just seen.
Yeah.
All right, so let's figure out why we had that problem.
Do you want me to share screen
Yeah,
again?
go and share again. Yeah. I'm wondering whether or not the prompt.start should be outside of it. Move line 22 outside of the while loop. Move it just above it. I can do the same thing. Now let's run it, see what happens. Nope, infinite loop. All right, good. Go ahead and stop the VS Code. Don't do it if you haven't. It's just an infinite loop. All right, let's explore this in a little more detail and see why. Because it should do that for, oh. Because on line 24, oh, console.log, no, the prompt get. That's weird. I don't know why it's doing that. It should stop at line 28 or 29 in your case, right? It should stop there and go, hey, prompt, and then nothing should happen. It should be waiting for you to enter something. It shouldn't keep on going and do it over and over again. All right, let's think about this. Okay, let's do something a little more ugly on it. Let's use a stay, like a Boolean outside of the while loop to turn it off, like you were talking about. So create a Boolean in there. I'm going to do this as well. We should all do it. And this can be, you see, let stay running. I like that. Equal true. All right. And so then on your while, just say while stay running. Remember, that means while stay running is true. It's just shorthand. And then let's just see if it'll turn it off by itself. Let's see. Let's do it. Yeah, let's build out our case D for delete. Once you go after the case I, after break there. Yeah, case D. Just keep doing that as well. Case D. And then type stay running equals false. And then break. We might not even get to the break, but yeah, we will. We'll pop out and then go back up. Let's see if that does it. So let's do it and run our program. It's still doing it. Yeah, because it's the same logic as well. That is odd. I think there's something about how while works that I don't know. Everybody shut your VS Code and then start it back up again. By the way, us working through this, it illustrates something as well, which is the value of using these pre-built frameworks. As you're going to see in some of the work we'll do within a week or two, when we start building a little more complex JavaScript applications, we're going to start with a bunch of code to begin with, a running computer program called a framework, and it's going to have all this kind of stuff already built in and figured out. But I want you to know what is necessary to produce something that just sits there and provides the availability for a user to do something until you want to close the program. All right, let me start my VS Code here again, and I'm going to do some Google action. Let's see if we can figure this out, okay? I'm going to take over for a second on the screen. Do you mind?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. All right, let's do here and then go let's see. W3 School is probably the best. Following example, the code in the loop will run over and over again. It's interesting. The thing that's killing me is, let's look at our logic here. Let's just go through step by step. We start here, we import our libraries. We're using this prompt library. We're importing these functions from our operations folder, the read.js file. We start the prompt. It says while stay running, so we know this is true. It should log this to the console. And right here, it should just sit and wait for us to enter something. But it doesn't. Instead, it prints off. I didn't change mine. Can you I'm gonna share your screen. Let me get caught up to where you are, okay?
So you want me to share mine real quick?
Yeah. So it says pick from the following operations. Then a products. What do we have? I. Okay, and then console.log. AID. D. Delete. D. And finally, we wanted to have an exit here. So let's do X colon. Oh, D, we want for delete. So do case X. So let's add on after your line 28, add on another console log that says X exit program. All right, and on line 41, change that to case X. So I still don't get, I'm gonna run mine real quick. Don't everybody do this, otherwise you're gonna have to shut it down again. Oh, interesting. It is printing everything over and over and over and over again. All right, so I'm going to take over again, okay? See if we can figure out what's going on here. So I should have something pretty similar to what you have right now. And this is just not going to work as we saw before, because it just says while true is essentially what this means. Pick from the following operations, prompt.get. Why isn't this working? JavaScript while loop. Oh, the do while loop is a variant. This loop will execute the code block once before checking the condition is true. Oh, no, that's not. I don't care about that. Huh. All right, let me see if we can figure something else out here. Node console. Trying to think of the way to search for this. Prompt while loop JavaScript. What I want to achieve here is to have the console print out command and wait for the user's input. While loop in node. Trying to convert C# snippet for a simple while loop to a JavaScript solution. The C# code asks for an input, prints it as long as the input isn't 0, continues. Yeah, I don't get it. Yeah, we're not using read line. We're using a special library called prompt. Accept input with the command line node.js. Yeah, this is a different library. This is using a library called readline. We're not using that. prompt library. Reading value from console interactively. Let's try that. Looping a login prompt in Node.js. Hey. Prompt. Okay. While true, prompt. I don't know why it keeps on going. Here's the thing we have. This is a while true because we've set stay running to true. Look at the syntax again. Okay. It should do these. It should stop right there. Here's the only thing I can think of is that perhaps this prompt library, which we don't really have a lot of access to. We look in here. Prompt has a whole ton of code. We don't know how it plays nice with the command line or with the while loop. I don't know. All right, it's not worth it to me to try to solve this when we're trying to build out logic for delete. So let's all take away the while loop. And we just have to rerun the program each time we want. So be very careful here. I want you to delete the let stay running equals true and the while. Make sure we go to the bottom and remove the curly bracket that corresponds to the one we're deleting. It should be right down at the bottom, right here. So last curly bracket. All right. And then we can make everything look a little nicer by selecting all of this code and hitting Shift Tab once to make it go backwards. Let me know when you're caught up.
I'm caught up.
Okay, now case X. Let's take that part away. We're not going to use that logic right now. Case D, that's what we're going to build. That's our delete. All right, let's see if this runs. Make sure we didn't break anything. Everybody run your program. All right, good. So it has the prompts. Let's do an A, make sure we can list all products. Okay, that worked. Run it again. Do an I and do whatever product you want. I'm going to do number 1. All right, good. So it prints off data for the toaster. If your program isn't working for both list all products and list an individual product by ID, tell me. Okay, good. All right, now let's switch back to you, Alexandra, and let's see if we can build this baby out.
Sorry, Eric, mine not working.
Okay, good. Go ahead and share your screen. Let me just look here for a second. Delete line 40. No, put it back. Control Z.
Control C.
Z. Control Z to put it back.
Okay.
And one more time, it's not back yet. Okay, all right, let me look at this. Oh, after line 39, first, line 39 needs to be tabbed backwards once. So it's lines up with the rest of the case statements. There you go. Okay. At the end of line 39, hit enter. And then tab once. Now do // for a comment. And then type delete logic goes here. We'll replace that later when we build it out. And hit enter. Type break, semicolon. On line 39, you have your colon inside the quotes. Erase it and put it outside the quote. Okay, good. All right, now try to run it. Okay, do an A to list all. That worked. And
Yeah.
Run it again. Do an I for individual product. And give it number 3, whatever. Good. Awesome. Okay, you're back. All right, go ahead and stop sharing. All right, Alexandra, go ahead and take over. So inside 39, this is where we're going to call whatever function we're going to build that will actually do the deletion. So we're going to put the deletion function inside the operations folder in something called delete.js. Now, you don't have one of those yet, Sudesh. So inside the operations folder, just add a new file and call it delete.js. Go ahead and go to that delete.js if you would, Alexandra. Now, the first line, this is what we were doing before, where we were getting our products array from a .js file. We need to change that so our products array comes from the text file. To see how that's done, look at the read.js file and copy all of that. That makes the actual array. Lines 1 through 4. Yeah, there you go.
All right.
And then replace that. Now leave that on there. And Sudesh, go ahead and type that out and make sure that you have what she has.
Is it from line 1 to 4 from read?
Well, yeah. Yes. Yeah, you can paste it in if you want. Totally fine. In fact, I'm going to do that as well. So now we have access to the actual products object. Good. Okay, excellent. Now we're making a function. Let's do export the function. And you're calling it remove product by ID?
Yeah.
Build yourself one there as well, Sudesh, like she has.
Yeah.
Now let's see, inside it, let's make sure we want all the same logic. Yeah, let product match equal false. We need a temporary array. I'm not sure if that's actually needed. We'll might fix that later. Make it equal to products. And now we need ourselves a for loop. Products.length. R plus plus. Check for a match. If products at element I double equals the ID that we passed in, this is where we have fun. All right, so what I'd like you to do, okay, we do need everything else. We need the product match equals true, because we found our product. Now we do the temporary slice. But it's after temporary.slice that we need to do something weird. What do we need to do after that, Alexandra? Actually, hold on. Sudesh, where are you at in typing all this out?
For loop.
Okay, good. All right, get to the point where you built the if inside there. If products I equals ID. Let me know when you're done with that if loop.
Yeah. Okay.
You're there?
Not yet.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah. How you coming?
If products ID.
Okay. While he's doing that, Alexandra, can you see if you can look up some syntax on turning the objects in our array back into JSON text?
Okay. It looks like you can use Stringify for that.
Awesome. Okay, good. Coming along pretty well, Sudesh?
Finish the for loop.
Okay, good. All right. So Alexandra, go and stop sharing your screen. I want to see Sudesh's code real quick before we move into this.
Okay.
Go and share your screen, Sudesh. All right, let me just look. Export function with product by ID. Product match equals false. Temporary 4. Right. If line 12, it says product match dot match. The dot match, that take that away. That's nothing. Okay, good. Slice. Okay, good. Excellent. All right, go ahead and stop sharing. Alexandra, go ahead and take over. All right, so first thing is that after we slice on 13, go ahead and hit enter and give yourself a little bit of room there. Okay, that's where we're going to build our code. Now, I want to write the comments for this. And then I'm going to want you to take a crack at writing it. So do a comment of let's see, loop through temp array. Actually, above that, put another comment. Delete contents of db.text. We want to erase everything. And then now go to the end of line 15, hit enter, give ourselves another, okay, another comment. For each item, convert it to JSON string, then write that string to db.text. That's what we're going to do. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right. So once you Google how to delete the contents of a text file in Node. We don't want to erase the file, just the contents. And yeah, you should be looking this up as well, Sudesh. See if you can find anything about how to delete the contents of a text file in Node.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I'm not sure. I was looking at a couple different answers and it looks like they all do it differently. So I wasn't sure which one like actually works.
Are you able to share it?
I can stop share and then reshare so it shows
Yeah.
my browser.
Awesome.
Let's see. Which screen is that? Okay. Control. There we go. Can you see the?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Go
this
to the
is
very top. Let me see what the question is.
Okay.
Delete the content of a simple text file. All right, good. Okay, good. I like the idea of truncate. It sounds like truncate will do it. Let's see if I'm finding anything different. Okay. Yeah, so let's take that truncate.
Should I just copy this?
Yeah. No, let's go and type it out ourselves because there's some valuable lesson here in typing it out ourselves. I want to show you.
Okay.
So go back to your code. All right. So go to the end of line 14, hit enter, and let's just put our code to delete right there. So we're going to need FS, file system. We haven't imported that. We haven't made that available to us. To see how we do it, go to the app.js and see it. Oh, actually, no, never mind. It's already built in, I believe. Yeah, FS should be built in. So do fs.truncate, it said, right?
Yeah. FS.
You know what? We might be importing this the wrong way. Go ahead and go to import db.js and see how we're using file system. Oh, yeah, we do have to import it. Okay, so go back to our delete. Let me follow along what we're doing, and you should as well do an import fs from it's fs, right? Yeah. Import fs from fs. We're going to get the whole library.
Would that be correct?
No, and the reason why is this. If you put it in curly brackets, what it means is go to the end of the sentence, the library, in this case, FS or file system, reach inside there and only import specific functions. What we want to do is import the whole thing.
Oh, okay.
And so, yeah, take away those. And that way, yeah, now you got the whole thing. So now, yeah, go ahead and on line 16, erase it all the way back to the dot. Hit dot, and let's use Visual Studio and start spelling truncate. Okay, good. Let me do that as well. fs.truncate, hit a parentheses once. You have to hit enter. Hit enter to take truncate.
Okay.
Hit parentheses. Now I want you both to look at something. The Visual Studio tool is helping us here by giving us hints on how to use this function. At the top, it shows truncate, which is the name of the function. And in parentheses, it has a number of different items. It's got a path, a length, null, undefined, and a callback. But notice on the far left, it says one of two. And it's got up and down arrows. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Click on the down arrow for a second. This is a whole different syntax for it, a different version of it, if you will, that takes different parameters, a different set of parameters. We're going to get into this later on, but the concept here is what's called overloading. You're taking the same name of a function, in this case, truncate, and you're making multiple versions of it that take different parameters. Now go back to the first one. Notice that at the top there, where it says truncate, that in parentheses, only one of those items is in blue. That's because that's the only one that's actually technically required. Is give me the path to the file. That's all we actually need to give. The other ones, we don't need to do anything to. So what is the path to this file? Give me a single quote, and then a dot, and then a dot and a slash. Let's see if we can navigate up. Let's see, we're trying to go from, where are we in? We're in delete. We're going to go up a level, and then down a level. So type data, and then slash, and the name of our file, db.txt. Okay, now give me a semicolon at the end of that. This next part is super important. We're going to try to test this code, but if it works, we're going to completely kill the contents of db.txt, and it's pretty valuable to us. So for right now, to be safe, go to the contents of db.txt, copy it, and put it somewhere else in another document. Yeah. dbcopy.txt, you're a genius. Good. All right, I'm going to do that as well because I don't want to lose it. Do that as well, Sudesh, okay?
Yeah.
dbcopy.txt. All right. Now let's go back to that delete. And I just want to see whether or not it'll actually delete. We can build the rest of it later, okay? So let's try to run this. npm start, or however you start it. Go ahead and do that. There you go. Oh, now we didn't, never mind. Go ahead and stop it. Control C. Go back to app.js. We didn't build our logic to do a prompt for delete. So build the same logic that we did under case I. I would just copy it. If you have any questions about what she did there, Sudesh, let me know.
Yes.
You weren't here.
So the last prompt.
Yeah, like show him the exact part that you highlighted and copied. Highlight it again. Okay, there it is. Leave that on the screen. Yeah, put that prompt in to the D case. But we need a different function. We don't need get product ID. We need to bring in the other function that we built called delete.js. So up above the import on line 18.
Mhm.
Let's give ourselves a line after that. We're going to import the function we just built. Remove product ID from operations/delete.js. Okay. Now the text is shaded out because we haven't used the function. That's all. All right, good. So now we can use that remove product by ID down inside our delete switch case. Okay. Sudesh, let me know when you're caught up. Let me see this error you're rocking, Alexander. What happened here? What operation did you put in?
I didn't put one in. I just hit Control-C to stop it.
Oh, okay. Run it again. Let me see what happens.
Okay.
Put a D in. Okay, good. All right. Give me 2. Type in 2. Delete.js line 16.
Do you want me to
No,
go to that?
yeah, don't go there yet.
Alright.
Collapse your terminal. I want to make sure Sudesh is caught up.
Okay.
How you doing, Sudesh?
I just did the line 20, which is
Oh, good. Yeah, bringing in the remove product by ID function.
yeah.
Good. Now down inside your case D, change the line that begins var product equals. And instead of using the get product by ID function, use our new remove product by ID function. See how she has her line 42? Your line number may
Yeah.
be different, but yeah.
Remove, yeah. Remove.
Yep, remove product by ID.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and go to your delete.js if you would. All right, let me go to my delete. So you had ... data. And then db.text. But you're getting an error. Let me make sure I can replicate that same error. I'm not getting the same error. So I'm trying to see. Let me see what the error says. Callback must be a function. And it's line 16. It maybe a callback function is required. I don't have one. It didn't give me any of that. Wait a minute. let me see all of the code in your remove products by ID. Thanks. Okay. All right. Let me get caught up to where you are. I'm missing a little teeny bit. All right, let me run it. I want to try to replicate the exact same error. Sudesh, what messages are you getting when you try to run it and do a delete?
Syntax error. The requested module dot slash operations slash delete JS does not provide an export named remove product by ID.
Okay, so here's what you check. Make sure that the name of your function, look at her line 6. You see where it says remove product by ID?
Yeah.
Make sure that that is the exact text you're using over in app.js. Go to app.js. On her line 19, see how she calls it remove product by ID? Make sure it's the exact same text. You should copy and paste it.
Right. I got get product ID over there.
Okay, good. Awesome. Okay, so why am I not getting the same error? What I'm getting is undefined, but it isn't truncating. Like I don't throw an error. So let's follow along from app.js. You're typing D in. Prompt.get ID. Let me look at that. Function. Right. Var product equals remove product by ID. So you're passing in result. All right, let's use our debug skills here. Can you put a breakpoint on line 42? Also go to the remove product by ID function.
Do you mean like up here or in the
No, the actual function, which is in your delete.js.
Okay.
And put a breakpoint right there on line 7. We'll just go through it step by step.
And then go to the debugger?
Yeah, I want to make sure that that Sudesh can follow along. Sudesh, did you fix that syntax error?
Yeah, it's the same one now.
Yeah, the same error she has?
1 second. I need to run again.
Sure.
Oh, I got prompt operation. So
Right, absolutely. So put D for delete.
Yeah.
And then 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. I don't care which. What happens when you hit your number and hit enter for ID?
I got error.
What error is it? What does it say?
It says code error invalid callback.
Good, perfect. Is it the same one you see on Alexandra's screen?
Yes, yeah.
Good, awesome. Okay, then do what she did. Go to your app.js.
Yeah.
And put a breakpoint on that line that she has. It's her line 42. Put a breakpoint.
Yeah.
You know how to do that, right?
Just on the red one, yeah, red dot.
Yep, you want the red dot to the left of the number.
Yeah.
Good. Then in delete.js, put a breakpoint right inside the function on her line 7. Let product match equal false.
Yeah.
Then on the left there, go to the debug. You see how she has the debug window open?
Yeah.
Do that and then hit JavaScript debug terminal right there.
Yeah.
Go ahead and do that, Alexandra. So now start your application. The debugger is attached. All right, now do a D and pick a number. All right, so just scroll over result.id to make sure that we have the number 2. ID of 2. Okay, good. So hit continue. Good. All right, now we're inside the breakpoint. We're inside are you there as well, Sudesh?
Yes.
Okay, good. Now just step through one step at a time. Once, again, again. All right, we have a match. First of all, did we match on the right thing? We have an ID of 2. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, good. Awesome. So product match equals true. That's all good. Step through once. Again. All right, we sliced. Now step. All right, so we are throwing the error right there. It is just odd that I'm not throwing that error on mine, but it wants a callback. Now, we haven't talked about callbacks a lot, but it's essentially what function are we going to execute once we're done with the truncate. And you want to put it as the second parameter on truncate. Go ahead and go to the syntax example you found on the web for truncate. Okay. See that function console.log?
Yeah.
So we're going to do a function, but it's going to be empty. It won't do anything. We don't care. We just want to put one there. So go back to your code and go right after the file name, hit comma, and then function, and go past the parentheses and just do open and close curly braces. It's an empty function. Now run it and see if it'll work.
Oh, I ran in the debugger again.
Yep. So hit continue. Now to make this faster, put a breakpoint on the on line 16, the truncate. That's all we really care about is that line.
Or just hit continue.
Yeah, just hit continue. All right, step once, and let's see if it'll do it. Okay, so it executed it. Now, did it actually delete the contents? Look at the db.txt file. They're still there. So it's not working, but it's not throwing an error. That we can work with. That's fine. Okay. All right. I'm looking at the time here, and I'm going to have to end off. Okay. I want you guys to try to solve this in the intervening week. If you can't, that's fine. But use some of the chat that we have in Discord to try to solve it. I think I saw an example when you were poking around that might help. For example, one of the things we can do, instead of trying to truncate it, we can overwrite it with an empty string. There might be a way to do that, to just write new contents to the file of an empty string. And that way it's sitting there waiting for us to add new lines. Okay. Thank you guys for working through this. There's a lot of stuff. So your homework is to try to work through to build out this actual delete function. I will watch Discord as you're trying to figure it out. I'd like it if we get a solution in the intervening week. So if you're beating your head against the wall, just reach out, put something in Discord, show code samples of what you're trying. We'll figure it out, okay?
All right.
Okay.
Cool. Well done. Alexandra, you have a good night. Sudesh, you have a good day.
Thank
Have a
you.
good night.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Good night.
Thanks, guys.